2012 Student Association Presidential Debate hosted right here on WTOP. You can catch us on campus on Channel 10 and online at WTOP10.com. As the format for this debate will be as follows. We'll be having 1 minute opening and closing statements from each of the candidates, and our question rounds will be 45-second answers and 30-second rebuttals. You can also submit questions for the debate by emailing us at news@WTOP10.com, and we look forward to hearing those questions. We're going to get right into the debate now. We're going to start with opening statements from our three candidates, and we'll start with Nate. If you wouldn't mind, in your opening statement, please introduce yourself, your year, and kind of a brief overview of what you've done for SA. Nate?
Hi guys, my name is Nathan Hemis. I'm currently the Student Association Vice President, and I am a candidate for the Student Association Presidency this year. This is my junior year. I've served for a Student Association Senator for 2 years, and now I serve as a Vice President. Those 2 years as a Senator, I served first for Johnson Hall and then Onondaga Hall. I've served on every single committee for the Student Association Legislative Branch. I also served for Faculty Assembly for 2 years, Resident Hall Advisory Board for 3 years, and Auxiliary Services for 3 years. So my biggest things are getting students involved, encouraging groups and organizations to inspire students to get involved, and actually attracting those students so that they might inspire themselves and others to affect this campus to make it a better place for us and for those that follow us. I think there's tremendous potential on this campus that we have not yet tapped, and I think I can help us get there. I think that I have dedicated 3 years of my life to this organization, and I think I can give it a fourth and really inspire and help this organization continue to grow, to make it a better, more productive organization for both us, the students, faculty, students to come after us, groups, organizations, and anyone who would ever be a part of this campus.
All right, Rebecca, your opening statement, please.
All right. Hello, my name is Rebecca Witkin, and I'm running for Student Association President. I've been very active on this campus throughout my 3 years here. Currently, I am a double coordinator on SAPB. I am the Social Programming Coordinator and the Special Events Coordinator. I am also National Women's Representative on Greek Executive Council. That means I'm the liaison between the 4 national sororities and the administration. I'm also a Student Association Senator with a seat on multiple committees. I have a lot of goals and ideas for this campus. I think SA has a lot of potential that isn't currently being used. I want to focus on making the daily lives of students better. There's a lot of things on this campus that can be improved. SA can use its power to improve these issues for students. And yes, thank you very much.
Thanks, Rebecca. Nick?
Thanks for having us here today. My name is Nick Staiano. I'm running for Student Association President. A few things I'd like to do. I'd like to have a better website for the Student Association, and that's something we can get to. Have Facebook integration with that website. And another thing I'd really like to work on is transparency. Each of us pays $97 a semester in our student activity fee. It's important that we know where that money's going, every cent of it. That's something we pay into this nonprofit organization, and us as the ones that fund this need to understand where it goes. So a more transparent student association will help us there. I'd like to streamline the finance policy, simplify treasurer's training, and have some real resources for clubs and organizations. Clubs and organizations are often ignored in the student association, and there's several things we could do to make it a lot easier. And club development workshops, and that's something. I didn't have a timer. Don't tell me to wrap it up. All right, and club development workshops is something I'd really like to do, and that would make it a lot easier. And also student space. Student space is something we need to focus on, and we need to expand the amount of student space we have on campus. Thank you.
All right, start off with an easy question before we get into some more issue-based questions, but what makes you the right person to be president next year? And we'll go down the line. We'll start with Nate. 45 seconds each. We'll try to get that timer working.
Yep, as I stated, I have spent a tremendous amount of time working for the betterment of this organization. As I said, 3 years, right since my freshman year, I've dedicated to this position. Like I said, 2 years as senator, now a year as the vice president. I think I've done the absolute best I possibly could to make this organization grow and be more productive. I believe we are finally at a state where we can inspire students and encourage students to get involved and attract students to more clubs and more organizations and put on more events with more participation on this campus. One of the saddest things is that not every student on this campus is involved in something they're interested in, and that's something I'd really like to see before I leave this campus. I'd like to see this campus get better, grow, and have a better, more productive student populace before I leave.
Thanks, Nate. Rebecca?
Why I think I am right for this position is I have a lot of experience on this campus, both within student organizations and student association. For the past few years, I've been involved in many different aspects of this campus as well as SA, so I can see it from a perspective of from a student level as well as an SA level. I understand the student needs and I understand what students want out of SA, and I also understand how SA can work on those issues and what they can do for students.
Nick?
All right, the reason I would be the best candidate for this position is I am the only person up here that has not been a senator or an e-board member, and what that allows me to do is I have an outside knowledge, I have an outside experience. Most of my experiences with the Student Association have been as a club president. I'll be able to take that experience and knowledge as a club president and say, what can SA be doing for the organization? It's not necessarily what could SA be doing for the 30 or 40 people that are the senators and e-board members, but we need to start focusing on what we can do for the students as a whole, the student body, and the clubs and organizations in particular. My outside knowledge will allow me to really go into SA and change it up once I get there.
All right, thank you. I want to remind our viewers that you can submit questions. The email is news@wtop10.com. All right, on to our next question here. What is your opinion on larger clubs with bigger budgets or evenly dividing money throughout lots of clubs? And we'll go down the line, 45 seconds each. Okay. Nate?
Every club on this campus is different than other ones. An even distribution of funds would be inappropriate to the extreme. There are different organizations that need different amounts of money and different support and have different needs. An even distribution of funds would be irresponsible of this organization and me in my position alone. I'd like to see organizations get what they need so they can do the events that they want to do. While we will always be limited by a limited budget, I think we do the very best we can as an organization to provide adequate funds to each organization to the very best we can, and that's something I'd like to see continue on this campus for years to come. I would hate to see one organization put before another one in importance.
Rebecca?
All right. I think that an even distribution of funds would not be reasonable within student association. We have 160 student organizations on this campus, which makes us the second most active SUNY campus in regards to student involvement, but each of these clubs has different needs. There are some clubs that have programming, there are some clubs that have trips, there are some clubs that have academic purposes, but each club has its own individual needs, and we need to focus on that. As we redistribute the budget, I think we do need to focus on what needs the clubs have and how they use these funds. But I don't think even distribution is the correct way that we need to distribute our funds.
And Nick?
All right, I don't think, as the other candidate said, I don't think an even distribution is the correct answer, but we do need to look at what organizations really deserve this money, and in the past I don't think we've done a very good job in picking winners and losers, so to speak. For instance, the lacrosse club has gotten $0 2 years in a row, while we fund $20,000+ for other club sport teams. And it's important, I think, for us to evaluate that. How come the lacrosse players are paying out of pocket for referees and league dues when other groups have that, coaching, and all kinds of other expenses paid for? And that's something we could really change. Also, I'd like to have a grant coordinator that would really help academic-based clubs find funding from grants, which would be able to expand the amount of money we bring to all different organizations.
And Nate, do you have a 30-second rebuttal?
I do. I'd like to point out that Student Association Senate has just funded the lacrosse club to fund some of their referee fees, actually the entirety of their referee fees, and some of the money so that they might attend their tournaments. While they were not given a budget based on their request this year and some issues with that, we have worked to better their organization, and I think that's something that we want to do. No matter what issues an organization might have, I think we can really help and support them at any point, at any time, no matter what their history or what issues they might have had with any issue or any topic.
All right, thank you. Yeah, the game is find the camera, right? You got to find the red light to figure out where you are. All right, next question. What is your opinion on trying to move some clubs outside of the Student Association? For example, taking a club that takes a lot of money, like SAVAC, maybe putting them under the Mary Walker fee, And also with that question, how do you feel about clubs like the Glee Club Vocal Effect? How do you feel about them not being part of SA? Do you think all clubs should be part of SA, or should we try to move some clubs out of SA and try to get them funded so we can have more money for other clubs? We'll start with Nick this time and go right to left.
All right, so one thing I'd really like to say for this is if a club wants funding from student association, they're obviously going to have to fall under that the student association bylaws and all that sort of stuff. But if a group like SAVAC has the opportunity to move under Mary Walker, where maybe they'd be more autonomous, have more power to run their club without a lot of the strings that are attached with student association, I think that's something that they should certainly explore as a club and see what would be the upsides and downsides for them. Right now, it's excellent that we have SAVAC on campus. It's pretty much a free ambulance ride for anyone that needs it when they're in service, which is quite a bit, quite often. So that's definitely a great organization and something we need to make sure we continue. But if they have the opportunity to move under Mary Walker and become an even better organization because of that, they should explore that.
Rebecca?
I believe that if an organization would like to be student association funded, then they should fall within the bylaws and be a registered organization with SA. I believe if SAVAC had the opportunity or would like to move under Mary Walker to become more of a solid unit, then it's a possibility they should absolutely look into. But I think it is a great thing that student association funds currently. It provides health and safety opportunities to students. But in regards to moving organizations outside of SA, if it provides better opportunities for them, then I think they absolutely should explore those options. But if they would like to be within SA, then they are welcome.
And Nate?
I'd like to point out that SAVAC is the only student-run ambulance corps in the entire of the SUNY system now. The only one that's funded by students' money and not paid for by the college. While a minor fact, I think that's really important. It shows that this campus is setting itself different than any other campus in this state. And if SAVAC is interested in moving off of the Student Association recognized list, I think that's a choice that's very important for them to make, and it is completely theirs. Also true for the Glee Vocal Group. If they wish to be a separate organization from Student Association, I believe that is their choice. And I encourage every single organization to look what's best for them. And that's something I'd like to see. I encourage organizations to look for what's best.
All right, thank you. Our next question, big sticking point in the mayoral race last year in Oswego City was student behavior in the city of Oswego itself. And a big, by Dave White, the mayoral candidate, who said that students aren't acting responsible and it really is angering the residents of the city. Do you think there is a need for the Student Association to address some of these issues? And if so, how would you address it as president? And we'll do the same. We'll start with Nick and go to Nate.
All right, I think that's something that we definitely need to at least try and address. We should have a dialogue with students, and I would if I was the president, and say, listen, I mean, we're all students. We're all going to go to parties while we're here at college, but let's be smart about it. Let's not piss on anyone's bushes while we're on the way there. Let's not be obnoxious in people's neighborhoods. It's important that if you're going to go to your party, be quiet. Don't do it on a Tuesday, Wednesday night. If you're there on a Friday or Saturday, I don't think you're going to find too many people that are upset. But when people are loud until 2 a.m. on a weeknight, then I think that's when people start to get upset. But it's definitely something that between the campus and the community, we could work together to find solutions, and we can encourage students to be responsible, but also to have people in the community be more understanding and responsible as well.
I think it is something that we absolutely need to address, an open conversation between the community and student association and the student body. Currently, we work with CCRC with those to look at those relations and see how we can improve them. I think that we need to look at this in the regards to what students' needs are and what they would like to do and what the community wants from us. SUNY Oswego benefits a lot to the community, and the community gives a lot back to SUNY Oswego. And we would like to keep these relations as best as they can possibly be, because we truly benefit from them as well as they benefit from us.
And Nate?
It will always be an interest of the student association to be in contact with the Oswego community. As long as there are students here and there are people living in Oswego, there will be some sort of feelings about both of them. Students will always be an issue to the community, and the community will always be an issue to the student association. And while there will always be those issues, I think it's important that we as an organization recognize that and encourage students to be more respectful of the community. We are currently in contact, and we were working with the new mayors, or the new mayor, or the former mayor, now back, and the candidates to make sure that students were always a part of the community and working for the best interests.
All right, thank you. And our next question: for the viewers who don't know, every 2 years the students must vote whether or not to keep the student association fee mandatory. This will be our final question before we'll take a quick commercial break. So I'll just quickly, what do you want to tell students as they go vote? Should they vote to keep the student association fee mandatory, and if so, why? And we'll start with Rebecca, then Nate, then Nick.
All right. I absolutely think that this fee should be mandatory. Once again, we are the second most active student campus in regards to student involvement. We have 160 student organizations that provide the culture to this campus community. It is something that we need. And in order to fund these clubs and have them put on the excellent programming, events, trips that they do, we need the money that comes from the $97 student activity fee. I absolutely encourage students to vote mandatory for this. It provides all the resources clubs use throughout the entire year. So yes, please vote mandatory for the referendum.
We'll go with Nate, then Nick.
It is my belief that students should make the fee mandatory. That fee goes towards paying for the bus that provides off-campus transportation for over half the population of this campus. And that is hugely important. It also pays for SAVAC to keep our students healthy and safe. It goes towards funding those 160 organizations, putting on dinners, putting on events, putting on the concert every single year. And while I will not tell students how they need to vote or should vote, I believe that is their right and their choice. But realize that that fee goes towards making this a better campus and one of the most unique campuses in the entire SUNY system, as stated, with the only student-run ambulance corps. We pay for the bus, we provide transportation all around. And I encourage students to vote on that and vote for us.
Voting is very important. I think it's very important that all of us promote all students to be able to get out and vote. I think about 1,300 students voted last year. I think this year we could push that to a lot higher numbers. And I think personally I'm going to vote mandatory. It's important that we have this money that goes, and like the other candidates have said, it funds some excellent programming here, it funds an ambulance here, it funds buses, it funds a lot of organizations, and even if a student is not too involved in organizations, it'll really surprise you where that money goes and the kind of things that funds, and chances are there's at least 5 or 10 things you do throughout the academic year that is it's directly funded by a student association. So I'd ask you to vote mandatory, and I will be voting mandatory as well. But the most important thing is that you get out and vote.
All right, thank you very much. When we come back, we're going to have more questions and also take some viewer questions. You can always email us at news@WTOP10.com. You're watching the 2012 presidential debate for the Student Association. We'll take a quick break and come right back. Canale's Italian Restaurant, serving the Oswego community since 1954. Located at 156 West Utica Street, always featuring family-style Italian cuisine. Also in stock are Canale's frozen dinners, sauces, and dressings. Dine in, take out, or delivery on or off campus. 315-343-3540 and online at canalesrestaurant.com.
The Oswego MBA program, helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
Hong Kong Chinese Restaurant, located at 41 West Bridge Street with all of your Chinese food favorites, as well as sushi. Open late every day. Takeout and delivery available both on and off campus. 315-342-8553 and online at www.hongkong68.com.
Canale's Italian Restaurant, serving the Oswego community since 1954. Located at 156 West Utica Street, always featuring family-style Italian cuisine. Also in stock are Canale's frozen dinners, sauces, and dressings. Dine in, take out, or delivery on or off campus. 315-343-3540 and online at canalesrestaurant.com.
The Oswego MBA program, helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online, or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
Hong Kong Chinese Restaurant, located at 41 West Bridge Street with all of your Chinese food favorites, as well as sushi. Open late every day. Takeout and delivery available both on and off campus. 315-342-8553 and online at www.hongkong68.com.
All right, welcome back to the 2012 Student Association Presidential Debate here on WTOP. Joining me now to help moderate the debate is Samantha Ye, political science student here and a member of WTOP. So let's get on to the next question. As Student Association President, you really act as the liaison between the students and the administration of this school. How can you use that to your advantage and to the students' advantage? And we'll start with Nate and go down the line.
In my past year, I've been afforded the opportunity to work with a huge portion of the faculty on this campus and the staff and the executive members of this campus. And I think that's provided me with a great repertoire towards working for the betterment of the students. They know who I am, they know what I stand for, and they know that I can express the views the students have brought to me. And I think that's really important. I think the faculty and staff have recognized the fact that I can speak for the students with what they bring to me, and that I represent the views of what I hope and believe this campus has towards bettering this campus for them, for us, and for everyone to follow us. And I think that's really important, that they recognize that the students are here and that we have a voice.
Rebecca.
All right, through my past experiences here at SUNY Oswego, I have worked with many administrators, faculty, and students. Through student programming and as National Women's Representative on Greek Council, I have seen both how the students and administrators interact with each other. I think that I am able to see and speak to students about what they truly want out of SA and from this campus. And I'm also able to put that on more of an administrative level and talk to faculty, see how they can work with the students to reach those goals.
In my recent discussions with students and student groups, it seems like that they have all come to a conclusion that the people currently in the Student Association, between the senators and the executive board, are not really there listening to them. They're there, but they're not really quite listening to their individual needs, and that's something I'd like to change. And if I was elected president, I will make sure to champion all students' voices and bring those voices to the administration. If there's issues that the administration needs to hear from the students, I'd be at the leading edge of that and meeting with students and discussing with students and figuring out what the issues are and where they need help and what their concerns are and what they want. That's something I don't think anyone in SA has asked us, the students, lately. What do we want from SA? It's important that we make sure that SA figures out what the students want and work with the administration to make it so.
All right. As a member of several student organizations on campus, I know a bunch of our organizations have had a lot of trouble with funding in the past. So what are your thoughts on increasing the student association fee to better help fund clubs? We'll start with Nate.
It is a mandate of this state that the student association fee cannot go above $100. And that greatly limits us. We are at $97 now. There is only a very small margin of growth, even potentially allowed. And if that is an interest and a topic of discussion for the students, then we can go to the state. And we do that twice a year, at least more if needed, to discuss changes we want the state to make. And I think that's really important. An increase in the fee would actually not provide a great margin of assistance for most organizations. There will always be a tight budget. People always want more, and we always want them to have more, but there are constraints, and that's something we are sorry for, but we do the best we can, and we hope organizations do too.
Rebecca?
As Nate stated, currently we can only go to $100 for the student activity fee, and currently we're at $97. But I do think that we need to see what organizations need and see what they're looking for from Student Association. Again, as Nate stated, there will always be a tight budget. We are currently a growing student body. We have more organizations every year, and so we have to reallocate that money. But I do think the budget process needs to reassess and see what organizations need for what. We need to look how we're distributing money and how we can distribute a little bit more clearly for what students need.
It's definitely something to explore. If we raised it from 97 to the 100 max, we'd bring in about another $45,000 a year for student organizations. That money could definitely go to funding a lot of different clubs, but that's not something I'd want to do without a lot of students on board, because that's another $6 a year really adds up. I mean, it's pretty tight for all of us right now, and raising anything is not something I'd like to do. But I do have other solutions which I'd like to put in place that would help students find funding. There's a lot of academic-based groups, biology club, physics club, meteorology club. These are clubs that I'd like to have a grant coordinator that could work with them to write grants and get grant funding. There's so much grant funding out there that if we could bring in $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 of grant funding to our student association and focus it to our academic groups, we could fund several groups a year just with that and have more money for all clubs.
And I just want to ask one quick follow-up question to that before we do our closing statements. But and Nick already touched on this, but should the SA fee be raised to $100 quickly?
That is, again, a choice for the students. If they believe that there is a need for that, please come speak to us. I will certainly express that view. Again, the mandatory voluntary fee is a choice of the students. They can express their views to us, to any other student, to any group, to any organization, to any member of this community and this campus. We just ask that students do get involved and tell us what you are thinking. I don't believe that it would make a huge difference. But if that's something that students would like, I just warned that if we use up the small interval we have left, there's nowhere else to go. But please, if that's something you wish, please come speak to us. And that's all we ever ask, is that you please come talk to us. We can do the things that you want.
Just keep going. Okay, all right.
All right. Which camera? All right. I believe if students feel that we need to raise it to $100, then it's absolutely something we need to look into. Again, it would not provide a great margin of difference. A lot of clubs would only see a slight increase, but it is something we should explore if students are interested. Again, we have constantly growing organizations on this campus. We're at 160 now. Who knows where we'll be next year? If students feel that we do need to raise this fee, then we absolutely should look into it. But once again, once we raise it to $100, we have nowhere else to go.
I'm going to waffle a little bit like everyone else and not give you a yes or no answer, but I think it's important that we look at what the students actually want. That $45,000 or so a year that we'd bring in if we raised it would fund 10, 15 different organizations, or it could increase funding on quite a few different organizations, but that's definitely something that we need the whole students to be a part of. I think that's something we should consider. If enough students were on board with that, that's something we should have a special election, special general election, and have the students actually vote on that, and actually give the students the opportunity to choose whether they're going to pay more money or not. We give them the opportunity for the mandatory optional due to the Board of Trustees rules, but I think if we're going to even raise it $3 to the max, then we need to give students the opportunity and let them actually vote to make it so.
All right, Samantha.
All right, so as a candidate, how would you change the process regarding the student association elections? Nate?
In regards to the elections, there are a number of elections that we hold each year. There's first the election for senators, and that happens at the very beginning of the year. And unfortunately, most students get back to school and they don't yet know if they want to be participating in student association. And that's something that really comes down to us inspiring students to get involved as soon as possible. And then there's, again, the election for the presidents and the vice presidents, as well as the mandatory voluntary fee. And that is, again, something that's highly important. That costs us $600 a year. And that $600 could be put towards something better. We have a number of talented students that could develop such a system for us. And that's something that I'm currently looking into and hope to continue to explore. I think there's vast improvements that we might have and that we can accomplish.
All right, in regards to the way elections are held, I do think there can be improvements. We need to look into the flaws of the system that in regards to election and see how we can tweak them and improve them. I think the change over to electronic voting was a very smart decision, and it makes it a lot easier for students to vote. Last year we only had about 1,200 students vote out of 8,000 eligible. I want to increase that as much as we can. I want to look and see how we do elections and how we can increase that number to as many as possible. Student association runs the student body. Students need to have a voice in this, and they need to vote. So however we can encourage students to vote is how we should change the system.
To change election process, I'd really like to have an elections committee that works a little bit harder to advertise debates. The last two debates, we only had about 20, 25 people that showed up there, and usually half of them were senators or e-board members. It would be really great if we could advertise and get more of the average students out there, the ones that aren't already involved with student association, get them to come to debates, get them to hear us talk and hear our different viewpoints and see where we stand, and then make an informed decision about voting from there. And I think the elections committee definitely failed us in that aspect, and that's something I'd really like to, in the future, encourage to have more students involved in the debate process, more students involved in everything, and just educating themselves about the candidates, and that's what's going to lead to more than 1,200 or 1,300 students voting.
All right, thank you. We're going to do our closing statements now, 1 minute to each candidate. Let the timer get ready, and we'll start with Nick, then Rebecca, then Nate.
All right. If you believe that student association has been working well in the past, and you believe that student association has very little room for improvement, I think you have two excellent choices up here that you could vote for. However, if I'm elected president, I'm going to change the way things work. I'm going to restructure us. I'm going to explore options of having a streamlined finance policy, better options for fundraising incentives and club development workshops, and I'm going to be the candidate that's not entrenched in the current student association bureaucracy. I'm going to be the candidate and the president that will take change to the student association and bring student voices there. It's not that student association can't work, it's that student association has not been listening to us, the students. They've been way too focused on pleasing their senators and the e-board members and a couple of their key clubs, but I think we need to start moving towards let's make everybody happy. We can make everybody happy. We can get more students involved. We can get more students to feel like their voice is being heard. And if you vote for Nick Staiano on March 6th and 7th, that's going to be the way it's going to happen.
Rebecca.
All right. Throughout my years here at SUNY Oswego, I have seen many different aspects of this campus. I have seen student programming, Greek life, athletics, music programs, all of the above. I think that student association needs to work for students. I want to focus on student activity space, a place for students to hang out, be on campus, have student programming that's not available right now. I want to focus on the university police and student relationship. I also want to work on creating a general student activity calendar. We have 160 organizations on this campus, but they're scattered. We need to become one unified system under student association. The way finances work, we need to reassess what clubs are getting, what money they're getting, and what they're spending it on. Again, we only have a limited budget, but I think we can distribute it a little bit more clearly. I want to be a voice for the students that will be heard by the administration. I think that I can be that voice, and I will be. Please vote on March 6th and 7th. Thank you very much.
And Nate?
Again, my name is Nathan Hemis, and I've already dedicated 3 years of my life to this organization, and those were 3 fantastic years of growth and development for what I think is an ever-improving organization and a gorgeous, fantastic campus with a very caring and capable student populace. I think this organization has tremendous potential to continue to grow, and that every single organization, every single student on this campus can be on the cutting edge and a leading example of what this campus can be and do. I think there's an enormous amount of potential for us, and that's something I'd like to continue to inspire and hope that every student shares that belief, that students will come to us to speak with me, to other members of this organization, and get involved and really find out what this campus can do for you, what your money can be put towards so that you can leave this campus a better place for the people that follow you and make it a better place for you now. And I'm, again, Nathan Hemis. I hope I have your support March 6th and 7th.
All right, I want to thank our 3 presidential candidates for coming in. I want to thank Samantha for joining me as well. March 6th and 7th are the days to vote. All students will receive an email with instructions on how to vote. It is an online election, and we will hopefully have the results here on WTOP the day after the election. Thanks for joining us tonight. Join us at 10 p.m. for our regularly scheduled 10 News, where we'll wrap up this debate and have all your day's headlines. Have a great night. We'll see you here at 10. There's Adam.